Hilary, are you all right?
Stephen, tell me truthfully. Did I humiliate myself?
Well, but I think you're right. I think that mental illness still has a sort of weird stigma about talking about it, and it's very difficult to describe, and if you could describe it, perhaps there would be no reason to make a movie about it. But dramatizing it and showing it, how complex it is and how many different layers there are to it, and what the difference between medication and no medication, and the fact that, if you were to come out of a hospital now having recovered from, say, cancer, everybody would ask you how you were. But when you come out of a mental health facility, nobody asks you anything. Yeah. And that is the big difference, that there is very few ways to talk about it that don't feel awkward or embarrassing for the person who's suffered.
And as you said, that it's difficult in society, because you can imagine being the woman in the flat above. At some point, your patients must run thin, yes. And even though you go, they're ill, it's not their fault, but stop playing loud music at 4 a.m. and stop trying to throw bricks through my window. But at some point, that's why. But it's so beautifully written by Sam that you can see the whole cycle of it and the remorse that comes afterwards. You've written her as a very courageous woman, which
Amazing.
It is amazing. Because it's just static frames with darkness in between. But there's a little flaw in your optic nerve, so that if I run the film at 24 frames per second, you don't see the darkness.
It's about the destination that is the cinema, the sort of palace of dreams, if you like, that is the place that you go to. And when I grew up, it was the only way you could see a movie was to go there. And so the experience of going to the movies was a thing in itself, which is not so much now. It's much better in many ways now, because you have availability of all movies all the time. But in another way, that is less special as an event. And it's also about the kind of ad hoc, weird but beautiful families that you find in these places, and that I found as an only child who didn't really grow up with a family, that I discovered in the theatre and film, with these eccentric families, these people who somehow support you and treat you with love and lack of judgment, and I wanted to kind of create that society within the cinema.
It was just intense.
What I loved about playing Stephen was that he has this complex kind of relationship with this older woman, because I've never really seen that on screen before, and I feel like there's not many people that are gonna address something like that, which also needed to be addressed, I think, because it shows that it's not really about age or colour in this instance, it's just about how two people connect over things that they love, and I think that's so important.